Good morning, TikTok. It is June 12th, 2023. And I read an article this morning, man. It really put me in my feelings, man, in regards to why I want to run for governor. Man, if y'all did not see the latest headline from the New York Times, $290 million settlement that JP Morgan is considering for the individual from Epstein Island that had been, trafficked in person. And the sad part, guys, the sad part about this is this. I want to run for governor because how on earth does the bank have to pay $290 million? So you have to ask yourself, why is that a thing? Now, the article says that they had been warned repeatedly that this individual had been trafficking in persons. But because he was wealthy, he was still allowed to bank with them. Now, really take that into consideration. What I'm trying to say is, if you do something bad and someone finds out that you do something bad, should you lose your bank account? Man, these are all huge questions that I don't know. Like, hey, I'm so wealthy, but I did something bad. Should I lose my bank account? I don't know. I don't know how that legally is supposed to work, or why the bank felt compelled to say that, yeah, one of my millions of people, regardless of the amount of money they was a registered sex offender, and we don't have a clause for not having registered sex offenders not be able to bank here. They can only bank here. Like, these are like the nuances of this. But the craziest thing when you look at the politics behind it is that neither the Democratic nor Republican parties, neither one that makes up the bodies, could come to a conclusion that the individuals that were a part of this needed to be known and jailed. This is what is flooring me, because these are our governors that go on to be our senators, not even our highest judicial party. The Supreme Court came to a consensus and said, hey, do we have the power? Because let's just act like we don't know. Do we have the power to say you will release every one of those names and they will all suffer some form of punishment? Now, buzzword wise, everybody will tell you that they dislike trafficking in person, hurting little children, doing all of these horrible things to people, especially when it comes to youth, especially when it comes to adolescent youth as we know it. We are not okay with that. No one will stand there and tell you that they're okay with it. That is not somebody that you're okay with. So how on earth is this a damn headline? Ooh, I don't curse. How is this a headline? How is this a headline? The headline should be, all of those people get exposed for what they did. And we made all those people face justice. Money has become bigger than justice. Most cannot afford justice. We see it consistently. And if the laws don't help us, if the laws don't protect the many, if the laws are out here protecting the few, we have a problem. I do not want your money. You know what? If I can't afford to advertise the way is necessary, I don't have any friends that I know of that have ever charged me to be their friends. So in order to move my message along so that I can put myself in a position to be a person of healthy character, this story is wild, guys. It's wild. It's wild that these type of things are allowed to happen. And all we can do is discuss it, because the laws are very protective of the few. And I don't understand that. I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense. And this stuff isn't even public record. You can't even go and look and see, who was involved, who was there. You can't even find this stuff. You can go look up who got arrested the other day. You can look up their charges, all types of things. But when it comes to this specific thing, this trafficking in persons thing, it is very hush hush. And we're not going to act like we don't know why. It's because a lot of the people who did it are in high places. Just look at the military in the Fat Leonard case. A lot of the people who did it were in high places. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy that JP Morgan's gonna pay $290 million. Man, make you feel like, man, they must have been in on it too. Like, give me a break. Is that the only bank he used? Why, like, who knows? Because it's such a rabbit hole of a conversation. If I don't win being governor because I could not afford to put out advertisement, I'm okay with that. Because the type of people who I would like to vote for me are people who carry the same characteristics and values that I do. If I am devalued because of what I materialistically do not have, then then I'm probably not a part of your group in the first place. And that's something that I'm 100% okay with. Doesn't matter how I live today, doesn't matter how I'll live tomorrow. I do have a value system that is not based on materialistic things. And our democracy is not rooted in funds. It's definitely influenced by funds. But you can go out here and run for office just by being a citizen, being of a certain age, and being in that state, in the state of Florida, for 7 years. Yes, you have to pay to get your name on the ballot, but that's it. I don't need to raise $1 million because you can't pay for office. You can't buy the office. Something is wrong, and money has rooted us in a lot of unhealthy practices. Yes, we need it to survive because of our capitalistic environment, but there is socialism mixed in there. That's how come all the homeless people ain't out here dying from starvation. Because we do have a mixture of capitalist and social type environments, kind of like interwoven in there. So there are, good people on both sides. There's always going to be good people on both sides. Character matters, though. And this is just crazy. Because when you think about your representatives, when you think about the people who you represent, and you get into a conversation and someone asks you directly, hey, are you okay with trafficking in persons? You're going to say no for the majority. You're going to be like, absolutely not. So when you voted for Buddy up there, they didn't advocate. They didn't advocate to push that, to make sure that happened. They didn't come to a general group consensus to make sure that those people were brought to justice. That matters. Take a hard look at when you are voting for someone. Try to hope their character aligns with yours. Because if their character doesn't align with yours, good luck. Good luck. And you're going to find yourselves being upset because these characters are not aligning.